We watched the Dogs dominate. And some people said dominate. It was UAB. It was a trash school. We're Georgia Bulldogs. We can't let 21 points be scored on us, Daniel. That was the reaction we heard. Well, we went back and we thought about some things. And guess what? We might have some more to say to all of you haters out there next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel. He is Clint.
Yes, sir.
LinkedIn Jobs are the people that are bringing you today's episode. Thank you to them. Love them. More about them in a moment. But Clint watched the game on Saturday. Immediately felt some feelings. We felt many things. We came on here. We turned on the microphones and we said many things. Many reactions were had.
Yeah.
But now we've had a chance to calm down. We've had a chance to let the dust settle. Unfortunately for us, we've also been on the Twitter machine and we've seen some of your opinions, some of your thoughts. And Georgia doesn't have any real opponents that we play. We don't have any football teams that are worth anything. Georgia, according to Hugh Freeze, doesn't even have any rivals. Georgia and Auburn, just friendly school. We just love each other. Everything is just
it's not a real big deal out there.
It's not a real rivalry of by any stretch of the imagination. But so all Georgia fans have to do is just talk to each other at this point. And let me tell you, some Georgia fans are feeling a lot of feelings about this team, Clint. They're feeling like the team's not elite.
No,
the team is not national championship caliber.
Can't even talk about playoffs right now.
The team is just barely getting by against no such garbage competition. We said on Saturday that two things can be true at the same time. Number one, Georgia can be just fine in the big picture of college football, and Georgia could not be as good as 2022 Georgia, who I will remind you went 15-0, won the national championship, and absolutely rolled through most of the teams on its schedule. Struggled a bit at times, but absolutely rolled through most of the teams on its schedule. Georgia doesn't have to be that good to win the national championship. And so, Clint, as you have had the chance to reflect on this Georgia team, where are you at? Either talk us off the cliff or just walk us right over the edge.
Well, I think the difference between last year's team, the year before, and this year's team is that we have fatal flaws on this year's team.
Okay.
We have the talent. We have the same depth. We have the same philosophy. We have the same explosiveness. We have the same efficiency. All of those are there, except for we have a couple of fatal flaws. Now, let me express what these fatal flaws are that I think can be remedied pretty simply. Years prior, we had so much returning depth, as well as Stetson Bennett, the greatest quarterback ever to play college football, and a running attack that wasn't a liability at any point. So Stetson was able to explode when he needed to. Offensive line played consistent. There was a high floor on previous 2 years teams.
Yeah,
Daniel, very high floor.
Yeah,
which enabled the ceiling, the talent to show out. We have the same talent as we have on other years teams, but the fatal flaw one on offense. Running game. It's going to shock you to hear this. It's the running back depth.
It's not going to shock anyone who's listened to this podcast in the last 3 months.
All of a sudden, Dejon Edwards comes back the last 2 games, and we've had incredible offensive performances. The last 6 quarters, Daniel, we have scored an abundance of points at a clip better than the year prior's offensive unit. Because we have a running game that is consistent, because we didn't give up 2 turnovers in the first half in many games before we did this year. Without those, this thing is rolling on offense with a fatal flaw of offensive depth. Now, Daijun Edwards goes down with an injury, and you will see me cutting the line to the cliff because we're toast. We have zero hope if Daijun Edwards is hurt. Zero.
You never like to hear a person say that, by the way. Like, it's football, so guess what? People get hurt. People get hurt often.
But without
Daijun Edwards has already been hurt
of the schedule and without being on time with what the system wants to do on offense, a balanced attack, take the clock, run the clock, explosiveness and efficiency. Without that running game, we're sunk in the water. So that's fatal flaw number 1. Fatal flaw number 2 on the defensive side. Again, interior defensive lineman there, pass rush there. We're rattling quarterbacks.
Yep.
Defensive back group, 5th best pass defense in all of college football. Okay, so that's no fatal flaws there. But there's a position group that I left out in that.
Right in the middle. Right in that meaty middle part of the defense.
Yeah, the inside linebackers are a liability. Now, I'm going to give you a quick solution to that. And I don't think it's going to happen. This is the fatal flaw that will have to take.
It ain't going to happen.
Him being embarrassed to the point where we give up 21 points to Auburn in 1 half. Then something might change. If we give up to 21 points to Auburn,
to Peyton Thorne, Robbie Ashford,
the 100th best passing offense in all of college football. Yes, you heard me correctly. 100th, not percentile.
We'll get to Auburn more tomorrow. But
the fatal flaw is the inside linebackers. And JDJ, until he gets exposed, CJ Allen is a better linebacker today than Pop. And it's not me just saying it. My eyeballs are saying it. My football acumen is saying it. Metrics are saying the same thing. CJ Allen is rated a higher inside linebacker across the board, no matter what metric you're using, than JDJ.
Clint,
those are the 2 fatal flaws.
You're fluent in Kirbanese.
I am.
I'm fluent in Kirbanese. Bonfire.com/store/the199 if you want the shirt. Kirby's asked on Monday about Pop, about Jamon Dumas-Johnson. And the question he has asked is, how would you grade? Jamon said in an interview, which credit to him, Jamon said in an interview that he felt his performance this year has been, quote, average.
Well, that's putting it kindly.
But I mean, that's credit to him. He's not happy with the way he's playing. I think he understands that he's not playing well. Kirby Smart is asked that question. How would you rate Pop's performance on the field? And Kirby Smart speaks for about 45 seconds. And he speaks 100% about Jamon Dumas-Johnson's leadership on the team. And what a voice he has with the young players, and how he knows how to coach guys and how to bring guys along and how to motivate people at the right time, and how he knows how to command the presence of the younger players on the team, and people look up to him and people respect him, and he's a pivotal leader on this team. Next question. You don't have to be fluent in Kirbanese, Clint.
This one's an easy translation
to understand. Kirby answered the question, how would you grade his performance on the field? He answered the question loud and clear.
Because Daniel, he didn't talk about his performance on the field.
Correct. No. Because Kirby ain't going to get up there and throw one of his senior leaders under the bus and call him out for being, in the media for absolutely no reason. And credit to Kirby Smart, he absolutely should never do that, because that's not going to motivate Jamon. Like what he needs is to be called out in practice, which I'm sure he is, and called out by his position coaches, which I'm sure he is. And what he needs is to get in the film room, watch the tape, learn what he's doing wrong, make the adjustments, and go back to being the dominant linebacker that we've seen him be time in and time out. It's in there, Clint.
It's there, but right now it's
It ain't
not.
coming out.
And that's the fatal flaw, because I'm gonna ask Daniel a question about some other teams in college football and a notable dog missing in last game that JDJ himself says carries a lot of weight in the defensive room. But first, these. And these are, in fact, LinkedIn jobs. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Go over there right now. Post your job for free. That's right, for free.
Maybe you're looking to hire an inside linebacker.
Well, I would like to post. I don't need to make a posting. We can hire from internal. But if you don't have the
hire
people
from within, this is CJ Allen right there.
We like to do that, but if you don't have the talent, if you don't have the people on the team, if you need to go outside your organization, this is where LinkedIn jobs comes into play. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. We'll go over there right now. Post your job for free. Millions and millions and millions of network people all around looking to get you the right candidate, right filtering questions, right network of people. Get the right candidate for your job right now. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Post your job for free right now. All right. Now, Daniel, just to let you know, the people in the comments want us to disagree more, want us to also want Brock Vandegrift to start, even though Carson Beck showed out better numbers than other quarterbacks.
Well, I'm going to get to what if we, instead of disagreeing with each other, people in the comments, what if we disagreed with all the people who want Brock Vandegrift to start? Like,
that's who I'm going to disagree with.
We could just simplify things.
There's a couple of things. We're going to get to Auburn this week, which, by the way,
that's tomorrow.
I know. 2 games I'm terrified of, and I've said it before the season. This week, I'm bucket worthy this week, Daniel, and you're going to have to talk me off the ledge because
can't wait. Zach's going to be on the podcast.
Yes,
our dear friend from Locked On Auburn on Thursday. And
Tiger Plans and War Eagle going to be on here with us.
I cannot wait to chat with him.
It's going to be fun. But here's my question to you, Daniel.
Sure. Hit me with it.
JDJ said, let's talk about defense first, and we're going to get to offense because I'm going to liken us. I'm going to compare us and contrast us with other juggernauts of college football. The teams that are going to decimate us.
The upper crust.
The upper crust, if you will. Here's my question. JDJ said, Javon Bullard is the guy back there that gets the communication going. He gets everybody lined up. Now I ask you, he was missing in this last game. JDJ comes out, has a very, very bad game, gives up the touchdown all to himself in that little play action RPO, Y out in the flat, drop it down. Guy runs for a touchdown. JDJ can't catch up, can't make up speed, can't get there.
He gets sucked inside and he can never recover.
Okay. He says that. Now, is this option 1, JDJ giving himself an out? He didn't give it as an excuse. He didn't say, well, I was out of position because we didn't communicate and Bullard's there to communicate. If he was there, we would have communicated. I would have made the play. He didn't say that, but he may have. Okay. Is that the translation? Translation 2, Javon Bullard's the actual leader on this defense. He's the guy that does make everything go. And without him, it's not an excuse. It's just fact. Or option 3, it's Bullard, JDJ is making excuses. Option 2, it's truth. Bullard is there. Or option 3, is it a smoke screen? Are we trying to just talk about, is this just more coach speak from a player, Daniel? Which one of those 3 options is it?
I think it's probably some combination of 2 and 3. So I don't think the loss of Javon Bullard can be overstated for the defense. In fact, I would like you to tell me 3 players on this defense that are that you would be willing to have Javon Bullard out so that they could be in. I'm saying 3 players on this defense who you would less like to lose for a key game. Because I would argue Javon Bullard's probably number 2 or 2. Maybe 3.
No, he's 2.
Like, I think it's Malachi Starks 1 and Javon Bullard 2. And I think it's Tyke Smith 3 and Michael Williams 4.
Now, we just agreed. How dare you? But you're right.
I know. You're right. Well, you're an idiot, Clint.
You're a moron. How dare you put Tyke up there? Even though that's exactly where he should be.
Even though it's where he should be. Okay. I think it can't be overstated the loss that it is, right? I'll talk more about that maybe in the third segment. But yeah, I do think that there's some aspect to that. But I also kind of think, yeah, it doesn't really matter that number 10 or Kirby Smart or any of these players explain to us why the things that went wrong. All that matters is that they get into the film room with Glenn Schumann and get it fixed.
Just get it done. That's
Just
all
get
I'm
it
asking.
fixed.
Just get it done, guys. Please, for the love of all that is good and holy, just get it done. I think Javon Bullard is the vocal leader. I think Malachi Starks is the silent leader. I don't think Malachi Starks, he does get excited. He does get vocal, but I don't think it's the same type of vocal as Bullard does. And him being on the field, I think, is a little bit more cerebral with that. So I would agree, Daniel, that he's somebody we need on the field. Javon Bullard looks to be doing well, looks to be back at practice, being healthy, getting right. We're going to talk about this later this week, but if you're on the subtext, we're having out information that we're getting from others. We got to give it to our subtext folk, and if you're not there, get over the notes section and find that out. But we talked about Ladd McConkey. We don't know if he's going to go, but he is dressed, and he is looking to be far better than what he was in previous weeks. The health is there. We are excited. We are thrilled for that. Javon Bullard, the same deal. Seems to me that Javon Bullard is going to go in this game. I think the plan was always, as we said, our subtext readers have already gotten a sneak peek at this as we're talking to folk. I think the plan was Auburn. Auburn was circled to get Ladd and Javon Bullard. We have a number of guys. I mean, this is why you saw Michael out this last week. Again, Kirby's famous saying, he could have gone if need be. And the dude is just, some sort of hospitalization is happening with him. But he could have gone if he needed be, right? I don't think that was true this week. I think all of them come back. I think all of them are going to be healthy. I think Auburn is, again, the game that was circled. So certainly does change the defensive complexity. The second question I was going to ask Daniel was this, and we're going to do it in the third section as well. We're going to go over teams in the teams not only in the SEC, but teams in college football that we anticipate are better than us right now. And this is just it's not a lot. Y'all, it's not a lot. I'm going to go over fatal flaws and everybody else, but the fatal flaw on offense I wanted to ask Daniel too as well, the running back situation. Do we think Andrew Paul, do we think Roderick Robinson is going to come out, and do you think, listener, you let us know in the comments, you let us know over on Twitter, Dawgs Podcast, if those guys are going to be a force. Now, I think Andrew Paul is somebody that's going to come back and is going to have quite a second half of the season. I think he was banged up. I think Milton's going to continue to linger with that. I don't think we're going to see him 100% this entire year. But I think Andrew Paul is that type of guy that's going to solidify the third position. I don't think we're going to rely on Cass Jones. I don't think we're going to rely on Bell and Edwards for too long. I think Paul is going to be that guy that's going to come in and do that. Daniel, I had a whole conversation. I asked you a question, then I answered the question as you would have answered it. It was beautiful. I then told the people
did I disagree with you?
You disagree.
No,
yes,
that's the point.
No,
as long as
I told the people that we're going to come back in the third section, and we're going to go down contenders in college football. And if people, prognosticators, experts, gurus, and insiders applied the same standard to Georgia, the same logic, I should say, to Georgia and to other teams should be right outside the top 25. And we're going to do that when we come back. But first, these, Daniel, are athleticbrewingcompany.com, athleticbrewing.com. These brews are something else. What if I were to tell you that you can get hydrated and not actually be incapacitated come third quarter?
What if I were to tell you that a night game was coming in Athens?
Okay, so I'd say more.
And you're going to be up early at the tailgate. You understand the wings are going to be there. There's going to be a pork shoulder on the smoker out there. Like, there's going to be a whole smattering of delicious options. And you could spend your day getting dehydrated, or the non-alcoholic brews from Athletic Brewing Company that taste just like all of your favorite lagers and IPAs. You reach for those, and then by the time that night kickoff rolls around, you're fine. You're offering to go to the concession stand and get a water for M-Dubs. That's the kind of evening that you're having. Athleticbrewing.com.
Fastest growing non-alcoholic brewing in the U.S. So get on board. Locked On at the checkout, 15% off athleticbrewing.com. Near beer. Exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. All right, here's where I want to end. The 199 is with us, loyal third segment listeners. We're glad y'all are here. The 199. Love you guys. Get over on the Subtext. Talk to us this week. We are there the entire week giving you news, notes, updates, insight, information. But Daniel, I ask you this. I'm going to run down the ultra competitive college football landscape of other teams that didn't have a bad game against lesser opponents. Let's start with Michigan at Rutgers, shall we? The number 2 team in the entire land was neck and neck with Rutgers until the beginning of the fourth quarter and into the middle of the fourth quarter. Only amassed 31 points against Rutgers. Again, New Jersey.
This is a team that has not scored 35 points this season.
But they're explosive.
JJ McCarthy, quarterback. They returned literally everyone on their offense and defense. And they have played, hold on, let me just run through the tally of exactly no one this season. South Carolina would beat Rutgers by 3 touchdowns. That Rutgers is the best team Michigan has played.
Disagree with you by 2 touchdowns.
Yikes. Let's not fight, Clint. Let's not do this. Michigan's played no one, and they have yet to score 35 points. They've yet to score 35 points on the season.
Okay. All right. Well,
Georgia, meanwhile, is just rattling games into the 40s.
Let's go down. Texas.
Oh, yeah. Texas has been fine this year. I mean, they beat Alabama, who's the best team in college football history.
Oh, no. That's not true.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, what about Florida State against Clemson? Because Clemson is Clemson, and they're the best team.
Other than Duke, Clemson's the best team in the ACC.
Okay, fine. Then let's go over to USC, who handled business against one of the most depleted rosters and a coaching staff that is new and players that are freshmen, 18-year-olds all across the board.
This is not an exaggeration. Vanderbilt would beat Arizona State by 20 points.
You could play down the desert too. I don't care.
It would not matter. And listen, we were wrong about Vanderbilt this year. We said they were going to be good. We said they were going to be improved. They are not. That team is terrible.
USC put on 42, but I think all 42 came in the fourth quarter against Arizona State in that game. That game was
tied, into the
If you didn't watch it, I don't blame you. But okay, fine.
Never watched
Ohio State.
No, Ohio State should be ranked number 1. Clint. It's in the AP poll is trash because Ohio State should be ranked number 1.
They had a lucky bounce go their way, stupid coaching decision on Notre Dame.
They were able to score a touchdown from the 1-yard line 50% of the time that they ran plays against 10 guys.
Okay,
but that's the number 1 team in the country, right? But there.
I would rank, if I was ranking the SEC, the second best team in the SEC, and they might be first depending on how much talent they have on offense, is clearly the LSU Tigers, who went down to a field goal win against the juggernaut Arkansas.
Oh no, Sam Pittman
to BYU.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm nitpicking now at this point. Washington, I'm not. I'm just going.
Don't touch Washington. Washington's doing fine.
I'm going right past. Oregon. Well, we all know Oregon would beat us right now as one comment. Oregon would boat race us because they boat raced Colorado.
Heck of a pregame speech. There. Has Bo Nix ever played against Georgia? That's what people are asking.
This is my
people
question.
Would love to see Bo Nix just go head to head against Georgia.
Okay. All right. Well, fine. Let's then go to Oklahoma because they have a juggernaut. I was wrong. I thought they had a juggernaut offense. Turns out Cincinnati turned them into a pedestrian team for 20 points against them. So if you use the logic, Georgia is not inferior opponent giving up points. Well, top teams are doing that to inferior opponents. Yeah. Not scoring enough points, not being explosive. We literally scored more points than Oklahoma, Washington State, Oregon State, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, Utah, UCLA, Penn State, Iowa, Notre Dame, Ohio State, USC that one more point than us, Clemson, Florida State, Michigan. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I misread that. We had more points than USC. Mm-hmm. Now you could say, well, it's UAB. Clint, it's UAB. It's
UAB would beat Arizona State by over a touchdown.
Guys, please, if you want to say Georgia's not as good as last year, I will agree with you. If you want to say that we might not be the most talented team this year, I might give you a run for your money. I might fight you. If you're going to say that we're struggling, we need to become more efficient, I'm not going to fight you on any of that. If you want to sit here and beat your chest that other teams would boat race us, I'm going to take exception.
I mean, it's just like this is Georgia fans and praise God for this week, Clint, because tomorrow we turn the page to Auburn, right? On Tuesday, we turn the page to Auburn, and we've got real opponents for a whole stretch here, right? Auburn game and then the Kentucky game, and we're off and we're running from there. Georgia fans do not do well with this. We needed an Oklahoma game more than any other fan base in America, because when Georgia fans get bored, this is what happens. Like, this is the kind of thing that happens. Like last year, top 10 Oregon came week 1, and we won the game handily, and Georgia was off to the races and things were good. Now it's just Kent State game after another, except, by the way, none of the games have been like that. None of the games have really been that bad. The South Carolina game, yes, the first half was really bad, and the second half, we outscored them 21-0 in the second half.
Kirby called his shot on it,
so it's fine. One half of one game, Georgia has looked legitimately bad. And then there was that first quarter where we didn't score any points.
I just don't understand. If you don't see how the rules of college football offer more points to be scored, and you're upset that literal 18-year-old kids who are still taking introduction to how be a college student courses and are playing at UGA for a whole half.
You don't understand what 2 special teams turnovers will do to a team. Like, did we give up a 2-minute drive at the end of the half for a touchdown? Yes, we did. And was it egregious? Yes, it was.
Have we been all over JDJ and the defense for that? Yes, we have.
Yeah. And okay. But it's just like the sky is falling rhetoric it's just getting old.
Did you see? Look, we're not going to talk about it because we're in season, and as Dukes said on Twitter, it's a kid who wasn't on the team and might go to another team and might play there or might not. And everybody, sky is falling. Nycar decommits. And I heard somebody say, well, we keep losing wide receivers like this. No quarterback's going to want to come play for us. They're going to start losing all the quarterbacks too. All those recruits are going to start going because we don't have one recruit, and Kirby can't recruit no more.
Like, when Georgia fans get bored, it's sad. It's sad, guys. Like, there's worse fan bases than us, objectively speaking. But it's just us here at the very end of the podcast. The Auburn fans have already turned it off because we're not talking about how bad Peyton Thorne is yet.
Gosh, I can't wait.
I can't wait till tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. It's gonna be a heck of a time. We could just be honest. Sometimes we're the worst.
We're the worst.
Like, sometimes it's pretty bad. So just tighten up. It's SEC play. We're going on the road this week. We're going to Jordan-Hare Stadium, a stadium that was literally named after the movie Space Jam.
Can you just think about that for a second?
The stadium was named based on the movie Space Jam.
They tried to
Bunny, Michael Jordan. They said, how can we put these together?
A McNuggets marketing ploy.
Yes,
that's
correct.
What they did.
That is accurate. That is correct. It's going to be wild. We'll ask Zach about it on Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow breaking down. I can't even get through it without laughing. The Auburn offense.
Well, it's been broken down,
and
Daniel,
how
for
it
some
matches
time.
up against this Georgia defense. All of that and more tomorrow, and we will see you guys then.
See ya.